Hello students, welcome to Well Explained PDF. Today I am here with class 9 chemistry is matter around us pure, part 2, mixtures and compounds. So students, in this section, part 2, we are going to study about mixtures and compounds. Now what are mixtures? As the name is suggesting, a mixture is a substance which consists of two or more elements or compounds that are not chemically combined together. Okay, in mixture, no chemical reactions takes place. Simply two or more elements are taken and they are mixed. It consists of two or more elements or compounds. For example, air is a mixture of gases. You must have studied in your junior classes also that air is a mixture of gases like oxygen, nitrogen, argon, carbon dioxide and water vapor. And all these gases, they are present as individuals, means they do not react with each other. The various gases of air, they are not chemically combined with one another. All the solutions are also mixtures. जितने solutions हम बनाते हैं जैसे हम salt solution है sugar solution है they all are mixtures because in salt solution salt is in water. When salt is mixed with water, salt solution is made, and this salt solution can be separated into salt and the water, means its constituent. The various substances which are present in a mixture, they are known as constituents of mixtures. The means the mixture is made by different substances. Okay, and the substances which are present in a mixture, they are known as constituents of mixtures, means mixture ko banane wale. Some of the examples of mixture are air, gunpowder, chalk water, lemonade and so on. Now types of mixtures. Mixtures are of two types, homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. Now those mixtures in which substances are completely mixed with each other. Completely mixed with each other means they cannot be distinguished as separate substances. Those mixtures in which substances are completely mixed with each other are called as homogeneous mixtures. Means एक दूसरे में ऐसे घुल जाते हैं, ऐसे मिक्स हो जाते हैं कि आप पता नहीं लगा सकते हो कि उसमें कौन कौन से constituents हैं. जैसे salt और water का आप एक solution बनाए. Salt and water is also a mixture. It's a solution. ठीक है. Now you cannot make out in salt solution ki where is salt and where is water. So this type of mixtures are known as homogeneous mixtures. You can see in homogeneous mixtures the particles of the constituents, they are mixed in a uniform way. You can see as in this picture. The particles of the mixtures are not visible by the naked eye. The particles cannot be separated by filtration. Means if you filter that salt solution, अगर आप filtration करेंगे भी, so what will happen? Nothing will be there on the filter paper. All the solution will pass to the beaker. That means they cannot be separated by filtration. Mixture is stable. That means it do not settle down. Means अगर salt solution को आप घंटे भर 2 घंटे भर कितनी देर भी आप रखेंगे तो भी salt settle down नहीं होगा because it is completely mixed in water. And the path of a beam of light is not visible in the mixture. Suppose if you will take a torch, आपने salt solution बनाया, torch लेकर आप उसमें जब light डालेंगे तो you will not be able to make out the path of the beam of light. Examples of homogeneous mixtures are mixture of sugar in water, mixture of salt in water, mixture of copper sulfate in water. This is the mixture of sugar in water. Okay, this is a mixture of sugar in water. You can see water is a solvent here and sugar is the solute. Okay, the solute is the solid which is dissolved in a solvent. Means the substance which is present in lesser amount is known as solute, and the substance which is present in greater amount is solvent. So here in sugar solution, water is the solvent as it is present in more amount, and sugar is the solute as it is present in the lesser amount. Now coming to heterogeneous mixtures, it is just the opposite of homogeneous mixture. Those mixtures in which substance remains separate and one substance is spread throughout the other substance as small particles, droplets or bubbles, is known as heterogeneous mixture. For example, sugar and sand. You can see in heterogeneous mixture, the particles are not uniformly spread at one place. One substance particle is more, and other place the other substance particle is less. You can see in this picture. Now the particles are visible by the naked eye. अगर आप sugar और sand का mixture बनाएंगे तो you can see the sand particles as well as the sugar particles in that mixture. The particles can be separated by filtration. Of course, yes. In sugar and sand, as both the constituents are solids, so you can just use a sieve to separate them out. The mixture is unstable. The particles settle down. Means if you take example of sand in water, you can see that if you dissolve sand in water, first of all it will not be it is not soluble, पहले तो dissolve होगी ही नहीं, and you can see the sand particles in water. If you pass that mixture in a through a filter paper, the sand will be on the filter paper and water will come down in the beaker. That means the particles can be separated by filtration. Mixture is unstable means if you leave that mixture for some time undisturbed, you will see that after some time the sand will settle down and the path of a beam of light is visible in the mixture. That means if you take a torch and pass the switch it on and pass the light through that mixture, heterogeneous mixture, you will see that the path of the beam of light is visible. Example, mixture of salt and sand, mixture of sulphur and iron filings, mixture of oil and water, they all are heterogeneous mixtures. Now, to study the properties of a mixture of iron and sulphur. To study the properties of a mixture, let's make a mixture of iron filings and sulphur. Okay, we'll take two substances. One is iron filing and the other is sulphur. Iron filing is actually the powdered form of iron. Iron filings. Okay. Now, when we will mix these two, iron filings and sulphur, a grayish yellow mixture is obtained. You can see this mixture, this grayish yellow, this this one is iron and yellow is sulphur. You can take this sulphur in powdered form also. In this mixture, it is not in powdered form. So this is a mixture of iron filings and sulphur. Okay. Now, if we put a magnet to the mixture of iron filings and sulphur, we will take a magnet and put it means उसके ऊपर अगर हम उस magnet को mixture के ऊपर घुमाएंगे, the iron filings get attracted and stick to the magnet. We know iron objects are get attracted by a magnet. The iron filings तो attract हो गया, magnet पे लग गया, and as sulphur is not attracted by magnet, iron filings they get attracted and stick to the magnet, but sulphur is not attracted by magnet, so it is left behind. That means we can separate the constituent of a mixture as we used magnet to take out the iron from the iron filings from the mixture of iron filings and sulphur. We are left behind with sulphur. That means we can separate the mixture, the constituents of a mixture by the physical method of using magnet. ये तो हमने iron filings को separate किया using magnet. हम alternatively sulphur को भी separate कर सकते हैं from the iron filings. For this, what we will do, we'll take a organic liquid. Okay, this organic liquid is carbon disulfide. Now what we'll do, we'll mix this add this organic liquid carbon disulfide to the mixture of iron filings and sulfur. जब हम इस कार्बन डाइसल्फाइड को मिक्स करेंगे मिक्सचर में, what will happen, sulfur is soluble in कार्बन डाइसल्फाइड, तो वो उसमें आ जाएगी. एंड व्हाट विल डू आफ्टर दैट, वी विल फिल्टर द सॉल्यूशन. तो फिल्टर करेंगे तो फिल्टर पेपर के ऊपर आयरन फाइलिंग्स आ जाएंगी और कार्बन डाइसल्फाइड अलोंग विद सल्फर विल कम इनटू द बीकर. फिर उसको हम इवेपोरेशन से सेपरेट कर सकते हैं. तो इन दिस वे वी कैन सेपरेट द कंस्टिट्यूएंट्स ऑफ अ मिक्सचर by using physical methods. Okay, so this is a property of mixture, that its constituent can be separated. Number 2, if dilute sulfuric acid is added to this mixture, अगर हम इस mixture of iron filings और sulfur में dilute sulfuric acid डालेंगे, तो what will happen, hydrogen gas is produced. Because you must have studied in your class 8 that it is property of metal, when it reacts with acid, hydrogen gas is produced. So due to the reaction of iron with acid, what happens, hydrogen gas is produced. और ये जो hydrogen gas है, this is depicting that iron in the mixture, iron filings in the mixture of iron filings and sulfur, they are having the properties of metal, that is of iron. Means constituent of mixture में जो constituents होते हैं, means mixture के जो constituents होते हैं, वो अपनी प्रॉपर्टीज रिटेन करते हैं, उनकी प्रॉपर्टीज चेंज नहीं होती हैं. इन द सेम वे अगर हम कार्बन डाइसल्फाइड को हम ऐड करेंगे टू द मिक्सचर, तो इट विल डिसॉल्व सल्फर शोइंग द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ सल्फर. मींस आयरन फाइलिंग्स का जो मिक्सचर था वो किससे मिलके बना हुआ था, आयरन फाइलिंग्स और सल्फर से. तो आयरन फाइलिंग्स में जब सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड डाला तो आयरन फाइलिंग सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड के साथ रिएक्ट करके हाइड्रोजन गैस बना रहा है. दैट मींस मिक्सचर ऑफ आयरन फाइलिंग्स एंड सल्फर इज हैविंग द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ आयरन. ठीक है. Also, if we are adding carbon disulfide, the sulfur gets dissolved in the carbon disulfide solution. That means sulfur is also retaining its properties. So means in a mixture, the properties of the constituents are retained, means that do not get changed. Next, when iron filings are added to sulfur to prepare the mixture, heat is neither evolved or absorbed, showing that it is a physical change. Okay, जब आयरन फाइलिंग्स और सल्फर को मिक्स किया, क्या बनाने के लिए, मिक्सचर बनाने के लिए, तो ना तो हीट निकली और ना ही एब्जॉर्ब हुई. That means it is a physical change, because in a physical change neither the heat is absorbed nor it is given away. This is the mixture of iron filings and sulfur. Now, next properties of mixture. We can mix any amount of iron filings and sulfur powder to get the mixture having different composition. ठीक है, हम एक 1 स्पून आयरन फाइलिंग्स 1 स्पून सल्फर पाउडर से भी मिक्सचर बना सकते हैं. हम 2 स्पून आयरन फाइलिंग्स 1 स्पून सल्फर पाउडर से भी मिक्सचर बना सकते हैं. हम 2 स्पून सल्फर पाउडर एंड 1 स्पून आयरन फाइलिंग से भी मिक्सचर बना सकते हैं. मीन्स वी कैन मिक्स एनी अमाउंट्स ऑफ द कंस्टिट्यूएंट्स ऑफ अ मिक्सचर्स. That means a mixture may have different compositions. Okay. Now, next, a mixture of iron filings and sulfur does not have a fixed melting point or boiling point. Why? Why it has no fixed melting point or boiling point? Because suppose in the mixture of iron filings and sulfur, iron filings, the quantity or the amount of iron filings is more, then of course, as iron filing is a metal, that it will have a higher melting point or boiling point. But if the mixture is having more amount of sulfur, then its melting point will be lower. Okay. Now, sixth property of mixture. If we examine the mixture of iron filings and sulfur with a magnifying glass, it is found that though iron particles are very close to sulfur particles, at some places sulfur is more, whereas at other places iron filings are more. So mixtures are usually heterogeneous except for alloys. What are alloys? Alloys are the mixture of two or more metals. तो alloys जो हैं they are homogeneous. Otherwise mixtures जो हैं mainly they are heterogeneous. That is why तो we can see कि the amount of iron filings and sulfur they differ at different places. You can see in this mixture here iron is more in this area है ना, here sulfur is more, here they are in different composition. This altogether is a mixture of iron filings and sulfur, but you can see that the amount of iron filings and sulfur is different at different places. So these are the properties of mixture of iron and sulfur. Now coming to compounds. What are compounds? Actually, mixture is an impure substance, whereas we have studied that elements and compounds are pure substances. So these compounds, if we come to this, a compound is made up of two or more elements chemically combined in a fixed proportion by mass. Okay. For example, water is a compound. We know what the formula for water is H two O. ठीक, so it is made up of two elements of hydrogen and one of oxygen chemically combined in a fixed proportion of 1:8 by mass. How? The atomic number of hydrogen is 1, but as two elements are there, so 1 into 2, whereas the atomic mass of oxygen is 16. Okay, so we'll take the ratio, it will be 1:8. You can see 2 8s are 16. So the fixed proportion in which hydrogen and oxygen are combined in a water molecule is 1:8. Similarly, the sodium chloride, calcium carbonate, ammonia, calcium oxide, they all are examples of a compound. You can see oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon. These are elements. What are these? These are elements. And these elements are combined to form different compounds. As this is nitrogen oxide, nitrogen and oxygen, they react to make nitrogen oxide. This is water. In this, oxygen and hydrogen, they react to form water. This is nitrogen dioxide. In this, nitrogen and oxygen, they react to form nitrogen dioxide. And this is carbon dioxide. In this, oxygen and carbon, they reacted to form carbon dioxide. In the same way, infinite number of compounds are there. Are so many number of compounds because we know 118 elements are known and they react with each other to form a number of compounds. So these all are the examples of compound. Now to study the properties of compound of iron and sulfur. Okay. Earlier we studied the properties of a mixture of iron and sulfur. Now we are going to study the properties of compound of iron and sulfur. Now how the compound of iron and sulfur is made. This iron filings and sulfur powder, they are taken in a china dish or a container and they are heated. When they are heated, a black compound known as iron sulphide is formed. You can see what is formed, iron sulphide, and it is black in color. You can see this is iron sulphide. We have seen that sulfur is yellow in color, iron is grayish in color. Now here a compound which is black in color is formed. Now let us examine the properties of this compound to find out whether it is a mixture or compound. Now if a magnet is put in iron sulphide, iron does not get separated. Okay, जैसे हमने आयरन फाइलिंग्स और सल्फर के मिक्सचर में जब मैग्नेट ऊपर घुमाई तो आयरन गेट अट्रैक्टेड टू दैट magnet. But in case of iron sulphide, अगर हम magnet लेकर आएंगे तो iron will not get separated. Also in that case, when we added carbon disulfide, we saw that sulfur dissolved in it. But when we'll add carbon disulfide to iron sulphide, it cannot separate the sulfur from iron sulphide. This shows that a compound has properties which are totally different from its constituents. Now next, when dilute sulfuric acid is added to iron sulphide, we get a colorless foul smelling gas called हाइड्रोजन सल्फाइड. जब डाइल्यूट सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड मिक्सचर में ऐड किया था तो हमारे को हाइड्रोजन गैस इवॉल्व हुई थी. बट इन दिस केस व्हेन वी आर एडिंग डाइल्यूट सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड टू आयरन सल्फाइड, तो देयर इज gas is produced, but that gas is foul smelling and its name is hydrogen sulfide. That is, no hydrogen gas is evolved, which shows that iron sulfide does not show the property of iron. Even the sulfur present in iron sulphide cannot be dissolved by carbon disulfide. This means that iron sulphide does not show the properties of sulfur. So we can say that the properties of a compound are entirely different from its constituent elements. Got it? Means हमने जब मिक्सचर में यही चीजें करी थी तो हमें आयरन फाइलिंग्स और सल्फर की अलग अलग प्रॉपर्टीज दिखाई पड़ी थी. But when this iron and sulfur is now heated and a compound is formed, a new compound is formed. So we are observing that the properties of that compound are totally different from its constituent elements. Now iron sulfide is produced by heating together iron filings and sulfur. Once the reaction starts, a lot of heat and light is produced, and whenever in any reaction heat and light is either produced or absorbed, we say it is a chemical change. The formation of a compound is a chemical change. So we conclude that energy in the form of heat and light is either given out or absorbed during the preparation of a compound, and the preparation of a compound is a chemical change. Okay, now coming to fourth property. Iron sulfide is prepared by heating together iron 7 parts by mass of iron to 4 parts by mass of sulfur. कैसे? Atomic mass of iron is 56 units and sulfur is 32 units. So Fe is to S will be 56 unit is to 32 units, which is equal to 7 is to 4. Now if we take more of iron or sulfur, अब रिएक्शन हो रहा है, मान लीजिए हमने आयरन ज्यादा ले लिया सल्फर कम है, ठीक है, या सल्फर ज्यादा ले लिया आयरन कम है, then also the excess part will remain unreacted. Only this fixed amount will be taken and the compound FeS will be formed. The extra जो भी हमने उसमें substance लिया है, that will remain unreacted. From this, we conclude that the composition of a compound is always fixed. The constituents are present in a fixed proportion by mass. Okay. Now, iron sulfide melts at a definite temperature. From this, we conclude that a compound has a fixed melting point and boiling point. Now, if this compound, okay, the compound, you can see if this compound is viewed through a magnifying glass, no separate particles of iron and sulfur can be seen and it appears to be same throughout its mass. So compound is a homogeneous substance. As mixture is heterogeneous, compound is homogeneous. Mixture can be heterogeneous as well as homogeneous. Okay, but compound is always a homogeneous substance. Now, what are the differences between a mixture and a compound? Number one, mixture is composed of two or more elements or compounds mixed together. Okay, there is no reaction, only mixing is there. Whereas compound is composed of two or more elements which are chemically combined together, means there are chemical reactions taking place among the elements or the molecules in the compound. Now, second difference is the composition of the components is in any ratio, as we have discussed earlier. In the mixture of iron filings and sulfur, we can take any quantity of iron filings and sulfur and we can make the mixture of the two. Whereas in compound, the composition of the component is in a fixed ratio by mass. As in case of iron sulfide, it was 7:4. Third difference is mixture shows the properties of its components or constituents. As in case of iron filings and sulfur mixture, we saw that it was having the properties of both iron filings as well as sulfur. Whereas in compound, totally different properties are shown than its constituent components. Number 4, the components of a mixture can be separated by physical method. As we have seen in case of iron filings and sulfur, we used magnet or the solvent carbon disulfide. As in case of mixture of salt and sugar, salt and water, we can use this filtration method, sorry, evaporation method to separate their constituents. But the components of a compound cannot be separated by physical methods. They can be separated only by chemical methods. As in case of water, water is a compound and it is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. We can separate hydrogen and oxygen by chemical method, means by passing electric current through it, the hydrogen and oxygen gases will separate. But hydrogen and oxygen cannot be separated by any physical method. So it is a difference between a mixture and a compound. So that's all for this part. I'll be soon coming with the next part with solutions, suspensions and colloids. Thanks for watching. Keep learning. God bless you all.